this works out. Let's go ahead and shut that banners. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. We have an important story that needs to get out. And as I like to start off when it affects one of these little kids, I like to start off with Matthew 18, verse 10. Take heed that ye despise not one of these little ones. For saying to you that in heaven their angels do always behold the face of my Father which is in heaven. The copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use. Purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Thank you so much for coming, y'all. I appreciate it. Good to see you too. And hello there, Cash. I'm dealing with a concussion, so I'm um, trying to get this done, even though I got a concussion at the moment. Wow, that's actually showing right now, the banner on my end. So I need to make sure to get the that to quit showing. All right. So the story we're doing at the moment is a starving 8-year-old girl escapes the home. She gets help for herself. I will go ahead and I will present. And if I'm not mistaken, let's see. Make sure y'all are all doing good today. How are y'all doing today? You're doing fine. Gotta close out some of these other windows where I've been playing with templates. So gotta close some of that out because it's just taking over too much. So what's how y'all have been doing great, right? All right, so I will go ahead and I'll show y'all about the story going on. But we have another awesome girl who basically took the screen out of her window and just ran away from home. She ran away to the Dollar General. Look at the culprits right here. And thanks to WCHS staff, this happened July the 19th in the news. Dog sitting cash, well, that's good. But thank you so much, Pig's fan. Appreciate the voice. You're welcome. Parents are charged with child neglect after 8-year-old jumps from a window in search of food. Put in mind, it was a second story window. There's the Ragheath Hardman and Elio Magdalena Hardman, both 33 of Arnoldsburg, West Virginia, are charged with child neglect with risk of serious bodily injury or death and conspiracy. This happened in Calhoun County, West Virginia. Two parents have been charged after a young child jumped out of a window and showed up at a nearby business claiming she hadn't eaten in days. Court records said Ryan Keith Hardman and Elio Magdalena Hardman, both 33, of Arnoldesburg, West Virginia, are charged with child neglect with risk or serious bodily injury. Can y'all see this? Y'all see my page? Y'all should be able to see my page, but I'm not seeing it on my end when I look up at the screen. Oh, thank you. Ryan Keith Hardeman, okay, are charged with 9 child neglect with risk of serious bodily injury or death and conspiracy, according to criminal complaints filed in Calhoun County Magistrate Court. Deputies said a barefoot 8-year-old girl entered a Family Dollar on Friday, July the 7th, and told workers her parents did not want her anymore and that she hadn't eaten in several days, the complaint said. When deputies asked the girl why she was by herself, she said she was hungry, so she jumped out of her second-story window and came to the store to see if she could get some food. Here's the mother. She's been charged with child neglect with risk of serious bodily injury or death and conspiracy. Deputies said the girl told them she jumped out the window because she was not allowed to leave her room. The girl told deputies her parents told her she had an attitude, and when they tell her she's not being good and they don't want her, the criminal complaint said. When deputies went to the child's home, they were met at the door by Ryan Hardman and a strong odor of marijuana, according to the criminal complaint. The Hardmans informed deputies they believed there were 4 children in the home and were not aware that the 8-year-old had left. They told deputies the child had left on similar circumstances on 2 other occasions. Well, you should be feeding your child. Feed your child and she wouldn't have to leave. Excuse me? Deputies said a search of the home found drug paraphernalia and marijuana, according to the complaint. Evidence near the window supported the child's claim that she jumped from the window. I'm so glad she did not break a limb. Thank God, deputy said. But there's Hardman right there, the father right there. 3 other children were inside the home at the time of the search and were removed by Child Protective Services. A sibling of the 8-year-old told deputies she witnessed the incidences. So it's a lot of different incidents that has happened. The child described and said the punishment would sometimes occur for up to a week at a time. Well, I thank God that the siblings went and took her sandwiches, snuck her sandwiches to eat, man. If it hadn't been for their brothers and sisters, she probably would have done been dead. The 8-year-old was treated for pain and injuries suffered from jumping out of the window. The parents are currently being held on a $100,000 bond. That's not enough, y'all. That's not enough. So then here is the where the mother was booked right here. I love seeing this. I love seeing a picture of her being booked. Elio Hardman, was booked in Calhoun County, West Virginia, for child neglect, creating risk of serious injury or death. 2 counts. You got 2 counts right there. She was Hispanic or Latino, female, 5'2", 160 pounds. Child neglect created risk of serious injury or death. 2 counts. Now I show you where, back to the bucket list, where I show you how his is. His is Ryan Keith Hardman in Calhoun County, West Virginia, for gross neglect, a child creating risk of injury or death. 1 to 5 years. That's the age of, I guess, 1 to 5 years. I don't know because he got $100,000 bond charges, and he only got one count. The mother had got two counts. Hey, Jackie, how are you doing? But this another incident right here where the child took it upon herself, jumped out of the house to take care of herself, jumped out of a house or apartment wherever she was at. Man, remember the other incident not too long ago where the little girl, this guy had grabbed her, was struggling with her, and grabbed her, and that little girl bit that guy that was trying to kidnap her. I had done that story recently. Now, this is another hero. Just another hero because she's probably even saved her siblings. Another instance of that. These are the type of people that do not deserve even having kids. Yeah, the system is very broken. That's for sure. I don't really know. It's not letting us know the ages of the kids. It's not letting us know. But I guess it's for the child's privacy, for the children's privacy and all. But you would think by looking at him that he was an average guy. You know what I'm saying? You would think you see him on the street, you would think that he was average. You would not believe whomever you pass or whatever. You would not believe that these people were culprits like that. So I wanted to get this story out, and I got two more stories coming today as well. I'll let y'all know what the two stories are, and but they're going to be a little bit later. And one of them's going to be where a Wisconsin mother and her boyfriend are charged in child neglect case that prosecutor calls like something out of horror movie. And then the next one is where the mother is charged in murder. So, I felt like each one of these deserved their own story. I'm not going to get it out there to look at these different stories. That way it'll be easier to find. Say them for sure. There's no doubt about that. I thank God for her saving and being there. Yeah. Let's see. Regardless, she saved them all. Yes, she did. And I had read several different stories on this, and they had said in one of the stories that the child, one of the siblings, had brought her up the peanut butter and jelly sandwich she had the day before. In 3 days' time, that's all she had to eat was one peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So that's not good at all. I just wish I knew more about the children, but it should be the other children's responsibility to sneak food to the child. And plus, she was being told she's no longer wanted. They were telling that child she's not wanted, y'all. Get to the point you want to go checking up on kiddos and make sure they're safe and cared about, especially during school holidays. And you know what? It's kind of scary, though, if you think about it. How you gonna be able to check on the kiddos if the parents are hiding them up in the bedroom? Probably say, "Well, she's up there sleeping." You know what I'm saying? They would just lie. And I am so glad that that little girl took herself, risked her own bodily harm to take the screen off the window and jump down from the second story. She was starving. It's horrendous. She was starving. Yeah, there's only so much you can do. And they have all these different programs, even during the summertime, to help the people get food. They had even went inside the parents' home, right? And they investigated. They had lots and lots of food, all in the cupboards, all in the refrigerator. But they was denying this one child food. It's like, they can't say they didn't have the food because they did. The police searched. And it had lots of food all in the cupboards, all in the refrigerator. But they said they didn't want her no more, that she was a bad child. So they locked her in a room where she could not even come downstairs. Makes me wonder if they made her use the bathroom in her bedroom or something. But they said she couldn't come downstairs, so maybe there was a bathroom upstairs she could use. I don't really know. But she was not allowed to go down there and eat. If that kid would not have done this, she would have became another statistic, another one that died from starvation. People like this do not need to have kids. You are right. Yeah, at least there's some teachers that's good that tries to really help kids. There's some bad and good and all. But yes, they try to be fed, whether at school. I totally agree with you there. All they can do is report their resources and services. They often fail. And Tennessee has failed a lot. If y'all look that up, even on YouTube, there's a lot of lawsuits and all kind of stuff going on with the Tennessee CPS and things like that. And you know what? That's kind of sad if you think about it, because look at the case of Summer Wells, right? And if the system's already failing in Tennessee really bad, oh man, this is not good, people. And remember, not too long ago, a couple months back, I had another article where one of the main CPS people in Tennessee had wrote a letter to, was following a girl around and left a note on the teenager's car, wanting to meet up with her for sex. Luckily, she went and told her parents. The parents went and told the police, and the police knew who it was from just the letter, and they put a false letter to him written by a police detective, making it look like the girl agreed to meet with him. So he went and he was arrested and all, but he didn't have to serve much jail time. He did lose his job. I don't either. I don't either. I find it hard to believe that they actually closed up that per se case, because if you remember, they were going ahead and saying, well, we got to try to get our house cleaned up and everything, and they're going to come back and inspect. So I don't call that a closed case, if you know what I'm saying. Exactly. Yeah, like that care facility where that guy was working. Um, I believe it was the same guy too that tried to do that sexual thing with that girl. He was actually in charge. There were so many reports against him, and yet they went ahead and rehired him and put him back in another place where he was right one-on-one with kids. And when the kids were trying to escape to get away from him, he was actually shooting a dang gun at them, man. The same guy. Why was crazy? I believe it was the same guy, excuse me. But he was shooting at the kids that were trying to get away from him, man, here in Tennessee. There's so many cases too where CPS in Tennessee knows about the child essays, and they didn't report it. They did not report it at all. Oh yeah, you're in the UK too, Pink Pen. I hope you're doing okay, Jackie. I'm glad you're here as well. It's not good enough, you know. Kids are our responsibility to take care of. It's horrendous. I was asked the other day, if your family came to you and yada yada, it was coming down on you, and what would you end up doing? I ended up just writing the person back. I looked at them as toxic, and I finally had to leave that family behind. You know, they said they're no longer family to me. I don't put up with people that abuse. Let y'all know something on one of my siblings. Her disciplinary actions towards her kids, she actually fist fought them. So anytime they were bad, they actually had a fist fight. So no wonder one of her kids ended up becoming a pedophile because he felt like you want something, you got to fight and really fist fight to get it. You know what I'm saying? That's what she instilled in her kid. I'm doing pretty good. I'm dealing with a concussion, but other than that, I'll be okay. It's going to take a while. I bought the porcelain sink and a porcelain sink one. Exactly. I have nothing to do with siblings or nothing. You go like that and they want to fist fight. In general, what do y'all would? What could you imagine? Tell me what y'all imagine the kid perceiving when it's a little bitty child and the parent wants to fist fight him for discipline. What kind of things are you putting into your child's mind? It's okay. That's good. Yeah, I did on a porcelain sink. It's been over a week and I still got a huge knot there. And he told me it could be a month before it gets better. And I've had prior, traumatic brain injuries. And so I think that's what's making it worse at the moment. And I want y'all to know, please get the word out. This is heinous. Feed your children, respect your children, show them that they matter. Yeah, I do. I need to take it easy and rest as much as possible. You're right. You're correct. But there were a couple stories that I've been needing to tell. I've been putting it off, and I said, "Well, I need to get back in there and let people know what's going on." Thank you so much, Sir Jackie. I love y'all. and I want to make sure that we get these stories out no matter what happens. I'm still going to persevere and I'm still going to fight the best I can to get the word out. And well, thank you so much. And God bless y'all. And don't forget, y'all see something, say something. You might be the person's only hope. And I look at this kid as another trooper. I look at it as another survivor. I look at it as another fighter. She fought for her own safety. She got out. She knew what she needed. She got out. And then when she got out, I don't know if they just singled her out or whether she treated her siblings like that as well. But regardless, her siblings are safe as well, which is good. CPS got them out of that environment. Exactly there. Exactly. You might be the child's only hope. You might have been the only person that witnessed that act. Speak out. Well, thank you so much, Jackie. Like I said, I got two more incidences and two more stories to get done today. And let me tell you, it's horror. But I wanted to start out with a she's a survivor, man. She's a warrior. Can you imagine jumping out of a two-story window? She jumped out of the two-story window, man. Wow. Yes, she is a warrior for sure. So I'm glad it came into another story where it didn't end with another child's life lost. So that's what I'm doing right now is she's a warrior, man. And she saved her siblings. We don't know, like I said, we don't know if they all were done that way, but they understood what she was dealing with and what she was going through. And one of them did bring her a peanut butter and jelly sandwich the day before. And that's the only thing she had to eat for 3 days, as I said. And the parents had plenty of food, according to the police, according to everybody that checked the cabinets and refrigerators. There were more than enough food. She was just being told she wasn't wanted anymore. I'm glad she got away too. She was being told she wasn't wanted anymore, and she was being starved. The next thing was just letting her starve to death, like a lot of these stupid parents are doing today. These careless people, these careless human beings that should not even be a parent. You don't want your kid. There are plenty of people out there who cannot have kids will love a chance at being a parent. You don't want them, turn them over to somebody. Turn them over to the grandparents. Turn them over. There are plenty, like I said, who would love to have had that child. Senseless acts such as this. I guess they chose the marijuana and drug habit over the children, as we've seen in other cases as well, without me mentioning names, you know? Exactly. They had food and refused to feed her because they didn't want her. If they told her she was a horrible person, that they didn't want her no more. It's a sad situation. It ain't like they can say, well, we didn't have the food, so just put her in so she wouldn't whine or something like that. No excuse, man. There's so many people that even if your child is starving, there's a lot of people who would go and give to a child, to try to help feed. But again, we're going to look at the good note here. that she survived. She got out. She got away from these horrible excuses of parenting. I do pray that the parents would get help for their drug use, so they could be good people. The new TikTok trend people are on the app making money and not watching their kids. You hear them in the background crying, "Oh my gosh!" Um, Years ago, I used to play this game called Second Life, and I'm sorry, then you could, even some schools were using that platform to build things and show people how to do things on the internet, build um, like architecture and stuff. And there were some parents so engrossed in that app that they were starving their children and everything. And it was days before some of the kids, they finally caught up to the parents and arrested them. I have to say that that 8-year-old girl was smart. She was smarter than they gave her credit for. It wouldn't look like she was dumb or whatever, because that's the only way that there ain't no excuse. You know, one thing that really makes me mad, I want to let y'all know, is a lot of times when I share my story about the abuse that happened, people would ask me, "Well, what did you do to deserve this? What did you do to deserve being beat? What did you do to deserve, being shot at? What did you do to deserve the whips? What did you do? What made your daddy so mad that he did this?" Excuse me, stop blaming the child. Stop blaming the child. Blame the perpetrators, the adults, for not being able to treat their child right. And back then, we didn't have child abuse laws, and so I think a lot more parents got away with what they were doing. But it's a crazy system we live in because as people, it's crazy. I'm laughing about how crazy it is. It's sad. That's a nervous laugh, by the way. It's sad to really want to blame the kid. What did you do so bad to cause this person to beat you, to knock you around, to knock you unconscious? What did you do? Excuse me? Why are people so apt to keep blaming the child? When this girl grows up, gets older and everything, I hope to gosh that nobody tells this little girl that it's her fault. I hope to God nobody is blaming that child, saying, "Well, you shouldn't have been a horrible child." I hope to God this girl never has to hear that ever again. She does not deserve it. Oh, yeah. And a lot of people need overhaul too, their thinking systems. It needs overhauled for sure. Well, I thank y'all for coming and all and discussing this. Please get the word out. You might be the person's only hope. Thank y'all for coming, and God bless y'all.